core and residual. You may see it as FAC, free available floating, or TBR, total bromine residual.
You guys got a float, right, on your bibs? All right, know the colors of the piping? I mean, I'm just telling y'all, I know he's going to go over it. That's the stuff that you're going to pay attention to. They like to mention the colors of what you're putting on the tubes, the sounding pipes and the tubes, and then the water tanks on what ppm. I think it's like 100 ppms for... One of them is 100 ppm, so I think it's the water tank.
Yeah, so if you're cleaning it off, because like paint residuals, when they come out of the yards and stuff, they're supposed to be like, certain paints can have like certain tastes and things like that, and you basically just want to clean it and kill off anything that's potential there. You're mostly scared about, or not really scared about, it's the wrong word to use, but concerned about bacteriological things in the water, because it'll just proliferate.
Where'd he go?
All right, so since I think you're taking a break.
OR?
I think he was. He just left. So.
Can somebody click for me? I just want to run through all these. It's already 3:50.
Just real quick, before I leave, before I head out, so what I'm handing out right now is what I said I was going to give you guys tomorrow at the end of the day. That is everything that I know is going to be on the test. So, take a look at it. Just take it with you right before you get out of your car, get out of that whip, and take a look at that right before you take that test in a few weeks, all right? It's going to be sent out verbally as well or digitally, but after taking the investment exam 17 times, I have seen those questions on it. I'll show you my profile sheets tomorrow. I'm not kidding about it because everything happens. All right. But that's everything that you need. Please take a look at it overnight, and tomorrow, let me know what you think, and let me know if it's actually helpful. Okay. So good luck with the rest of the studying.
Why would you hand these already been handed out?
These have already been handed out. That's the residual.
Okay, thank you.
NAMEP P117, right? Okay, so we're talking about, what is the NAMEP P117? Man-med. Okay? Other than the Corpsman manual, is the other manual that you need to be using for 90% of everything you do as a hospital corpsman. Okay? To me, this is the updated version of the Corpsman manual. It has more detail. It actually provides updates. It's been updated more than just 2010 or 2012. I think that's the last time the Corpsman manual was written. All right? So, I highlighted the sections that are almost always on the test. This one actually should be highlighted too. Yep. So, dental core. Which I don't ever know why they put it on the test. There's not really much quality from that chapter. They just want to include us, I guess. Medical exams, chapter 15. Records, which I feel like that one's going to be obsolete soon too. That's chapter 16. 21 is pharmacy. 19 FMF. 22 PrevMed. So he said chapter 2 and 22, you guys remember, are the ones that they use for PrevMed. And then 23, reports, forms, and records. So, easily remember the Corpsman manual, right? This is the way I like to approach it. Corpsman manual is the foundation that branches off into everything else. I guarantee you, if you went through the entire Corpsman manual, at least once throughout there, it's going to reference another instruction on your bibs. It all starts there and then branches off in more detail to other instructions. All right, next slide. SAMs. Okay. Short Automated Medical System. Okay, and you guys see SNAP up here too. Okay. SAMS is an administrative management tool that tracks medical and dental readiness. Okay. For Navy Marine Corps units. What also sounds like it tracks the medical and dental readiness of Navy Marine Corps units? RS. So SAMS is, what did somebody say? Shipboard. Alright? So you're going to need to find that keyword of shipboard to know that it's talking about SAMs and not MERS. Okay?
I don't think it's as intuitive.
No. I thought they do. They don't?
No. They don't use MERS. They can't access it.
I think it's the way I put everything in TMIP, right? TMIP's like a snapshot of everything.
So we can use it in the yard because we in the yard we have MERS, we have MHS, we have all y'all, like everything y'all have, we have. But only go ahead.
You gotta be used to operating without internet. I learned recently, because I couldn't find anywhere to sign up for it, they still use Dencast. I haven't touched Dencast since 2012. I didn't even know that was still used on the ships because we have CDA and everything else, but apparently since it's an offline mode type app, those are the ones that they have on ships for these systems. Alright. Again, additionally SAMS is used to track supply inventory. Okay, so know that. Because you guys don't use demos? You guys don't use demos on the ship, right?
It have been, it doesn't do anything other than it says we have stuff.
Because there's an offline mode for demos. I do know that you can use it for like tracking, at least. All right, next slide. BAS. If anything ever BAS is gonna be on the test, this right here. 2 medical officers, 65 HMs. We got that? And I'm telling y'all, don't overlook this. I just took the chief exam, and there was a Chapter 6 Human Anatomy and Physiology question on my test. Never thought I'd see that day. I was like, what the fuck? Right? So they can throw questions from anywhere on there. You might have some mud bath questions again, too.
Oh.
Alright.
That one, right?
Oh yeah, I finally found where that was from. I think it's in the sanitation and living spaces, P5010. Alright, next slide. Yeah, we're going. Trust me, I don't want these guys staying late like we did yesterday. I don't want their husbands or wives yelling at them. Alright, EMFs, up to 500 beds. Okay, 500 beds. Fleet hospitals. Okay, know this one. Fleet hospitals are designed to use in operation greater than 60 days. I like this PowerPoint because it's just a big snapshot of some of the critical points for expeditionary medicine. Next slide. We build, we fight. CBs. A total of 8 construction battalions. Home ported in Gulfport, Mississippi, and Port Hueneme, California. I've heard of some people that have been stationed with them. It's actually a pretty good time. I actually tried stitching that into a paddle. It's a pain in the ass. Alright, that's chapter 2. Now we go into chapter 3. Chapter 3, where are you at? There you go. Just make sure my team's people are still on here. Alright. Next slide. Oh, damn it. Next slide, please. Alta!
Oh hell, let's try again.
We don't use Alta. We don't use Alta anymore, right? On the ship, we use Alta. No, TMIP. TMIP, Theater Medical Information Program. Oh, Timu. All right. So Alta. Okay. Again, if I'm writing an advanced exam, unless I'm a big dummy, I'm probably gonna put stuff that's relevant to you, right? If Alta is something that you guys aren't really using anymore, I'm probably not gonna be trying to ask that. I told y'all the purpose. They have a purpose between every advanced exam on how they put the questions on there, right? They want to see that you're up to knowledge on some sort of conflict or what the current situation is in the Navy. Okay? If we're not even using Alta anymore, I'm not going to waste your time making you study it. Okay? DEERS. Okay? Know what this form is right here. What's that? What's the name of that form?
DEERS eligibility override?
No. That's just telling you. What's the DD 1172?
ID card application?
DEERS enrollment form. Or DEERS ID card, right? It's the same thing. Your DD 1172 is always the form that's going to be associated with DEERS. Okay. Expired ID card. Must get a new one in 120 days. The big thing here is making sure you get your ID card before it actually expires. It's a much more pain in the ass process if you get it after it expires.
They make you get it the day of unless you have an appointment.
This place is whack.
Yeah. So like one guy had to re-enlist and his CAD card expired 2 days later and they would not let him get it.
It has to update in their system. So it'll update in itself, but you
Yeah.
have to wait for their system.
Exactly. So he had to wait a whole week. We had him do nothing.
Is this the place that just loves to work harder than they need to?
Yes.
Make it feel like I'm back at Great Lakes. Alright, next slide. DOD and VA operate in Great Lakes. So think of how confusing it is here. It's worse over there. All right.
Not want to retire.
Especially because our CO is not even the boss. The VA director is his boss. So it's weird. All right. So patient priority categories. There's always at least one question of this that I've seen on the exams. Okay. 1A is us. Okay. Now, know when you're taking the test, because it looks like it's easy to remember now, there's a Bravo. Okay? Because if I put category 1A and category 2, category 3, whatever else, you need to know that 1B is going to be your reserve and National Guard, right? You don't want to mix up and know and think that category 2 is reserve, right? This is the only one that has an extra letter in there. Okay? And again, it goes in order of precedence, like everything else in the Navy. Active duty, reserve, active duty FAM, senior reserve, retired, civilian, all of those. Next slide. Not on the test. Next slide. This is how they get these dumbass instructions on the test that you're like, I don't know if this was ever on my bibs. They like to do that a lot with sapper, suicide, FAP. You're like, where are they pulling this from? It's Corps manual. Right? So, know your DAPA instruction. I don't know how many of y'all have seen these odd instructions on the test for FAP and whatever else, and you're like, I don't know where they pulled this from. I didn't even try studying the FAP instruction. There's the FAP one. Know that one too. 1752.3. Everybody got it? No? Oh, stop. Was there an easier place to park by building 3? Parked in the parking garage, and I feel like I walked forever to get over here.
I park all the way in the back, so I don't have to fuck with finding.
Because I was like, the building isn't even in this building. I had to leave out a door into this building.
I don't recommend it, but ER parking lot.
YOLO.
Where the fuck's my car? Got towed.
They do tell.
I said I
Yeah,
don't
they towed the
recommend
shit out of
it.
that.
I have chest pains. Let me park here.
Why are you going to work then?
Next slide.
I don't recommend
All right. Okay. This right here, the 6110 is always related with physical readiness. Okay. It's your OpNav instruction, 6110.1. Seen this one on the test? That's a random question to ask. But officials had 20 working days to respond to these written requests for freedom of information. 20 working days. Privacy Act. Not 2005, that's when you sign in your books, or your records, but 1974 is when it was enacted. And the stickers on the back of your records are probably outdated too. People still have 2003 stickers on there. I think the latest one, there's probably one newer. I know there was at least a 2015 one that's still not on record. I still see people chilling with 2003 stickers on their records. Next slide. Prisoner patients. POWs, entitled to medical and dental care, ability care. Okay, basically it's just saying all these people are authorized medical care. It's part of the Geneva Conventions. Probably the only nation that follows Geneva Conventions in times of war. Just my own personal opinion. But I don't think Iraq and Afghanistan follow those rules. Alright, PowerPoint's done. Now we're going to chapter 4. This will be a quick one. Do you guys have chapter 16 on your bibs? P117 chapter 16?
Yes.
Okay. Alright. So you're going to get a lot more of it. It tells me so I can just breeze through this one, because you're going to get more detail than that one. Alright, so next slide. If anything has ever confused me on records, on studying for the test, it's knowing what the different records are. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I want you to pay attention to the bullet points of primary records and secondary, and what falls under each. Okay? Your primary records consist of the 3 records. HREX, OREX, well, it's 4 records technically. HREX, OREX, DREX, and IREX. Okay? So your health record, your dental record, outpatient procedures, inpatient procedures. Okay? Secondary medical records, because this is the test question that it'll throw on there. What's not considered a secondary medical record, what is considered a secondary medical record, right? OBGYN, FAP, psychology, right? Same with MTF, kept for convenience. Okay, why do you think those secondary medical records exist? Look at those kind of programs up there. Why would you have secondary records for those? A lot of follow-ups, a lot of confidential stuff that goes in there, and a lot of care that are probably getting specific that has probably thick records for that they should have a secondary record for. Okay, psychology is not usually a one and done. It's a bunch of visits. FAP is not usually a one and done. OBGYN is definitely not a one and done. Okay, so it's easy to have those secondary records. Temporary records. People keep slapping me in the face for using this term because I keep saying that those records were created for the ship or temp records or shadow records. The term is deployment record. But temporary records are known as ancillary records. Okay, what are our ancillary services? Okay, so always associate those with temporary records. Okay? Those are the two that are going to confuse you. Your secondary and your temporary records. You can tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it confuses me on the test. Alright, next slide. Or that. Do you have ultimate responsibility for your medical record?
Nope.
CO. Patient cannot maintain or keep it on record. And I guarantee you half of you probably have your own records because you're afraid of getting it lost at Portsmouth.
We know, but give it back.
Alright, well, if you've been Greenside, you don't like trusting Marines with their own records. I do know that. They'll lose it all day.
You got it back with coffee stain.
I've seen worse. I've seen worse from Navy people. Everyone had bugs crawling all
So
over.
I filmed this in
Smell
my
like
truck,
mold.
dog.
Alright, so it's dumb that they put this on here because nobody else is in the military from this time frame. But so Reserve Personnel Center is where? New Orleans. Alright? Reserves associate with New Orleans. Okay? Now, let me pay attention to this one because there's nobody in the service anymore. For those who started before 31 Jan 1994, request should be sent to who? NPRC. Okay? After 31 Jan, VA. Next slide. I have a way to remember these, by the way.
I got one.
So I'll share mine and then you share yours. Okay. I like to, and some people might disagree. people that are most important to me, and that goes in that order of precedence. Me, right? Myself, right? My kids, myself, my wife, right? And that's my wife, my mother, my father, my mother-in-law,
That's a left.
my father-in-law,
Dead, I don't care. All right.
authorized dependents, civilian employees, and all others. Mother, father, mother-in-law, father-in-law. Because these are the ones that are going to confuse you right here.
Yep.
I missed a question on the test because I miscounted my numbers.
Oh.
And it was one of these. So, because it was where these start, right? So, no, 0, 1 to 19 kids. 20 is you. And what I messed up on, which is you're probably going to see what I messed up on, I consider 21 to 29 what? What do you think I accidentally messed up on? Spouse. 21 to 29 is not up here. Okay? So know that it goes after 20, it goes to 30. If you don't know that, it's going to mix it up when you're trying to remember them. We're going to talk about the order of precedence. The 21 to 29 does not exist on this chart here. What's your way?
So, I like to think of the numbers as ages. So, an active duty member in their 20s, because typical active duty members are young. Their spouses, because contract marriages, are in their 30s all the time. And depending on the number of your spouse, like if I get divorced and I get married again, my next wife will be 31, and so on. And between me and my wife, we have however many of children, and that's their ages between 1 year of age and 19. My mother-in-law is in her 40s. My father-in-law is in his 50s. My mom is in her 40s. My dad's in his 50s. My mom is in her early 50s. My father is in his late 50s. Any of let's say your grandparents, they're in their 60s, and everyone else is either 98 or 99 years old. That helped me.
I like it. I like it.
Alright, so either way you can remember it. I just know that everybody hates their in-laws. Well, some people love their in-laws actually more than the regular parents. But most people, that's why the actual paternal people come first before the in-laws when you're memorizing the records. Alright, next slide. Part 1, done in pencil. What's in part 1? Without looking up there. You shouldn't even have to look up there. What's in part 1? Demographics.
Buick, phone number,
And you know what's most important about all that? Phone number. In my opinion. Because I want to know that I can contact that patient and get them where I need to get them. Portsmouth, sounds like you guys are trash at seeing people, taking 2 months to see them. If I was at any other facility and I wanted to get a hold of that individual, I'll give you a for instance. I worked at Dahlgren for my first command. It's a bunch of FCs there. They have shifts where they work from like midnight to 6, 6 to 12, and then noon to 6. So you had to call these people at weird times to actually get a hold of them, to actually get them in the chair. So I had to have a good contact number because a lot of times if you tried, they were a nights person, they weren't there during the day to call, or they were a days person, right? So you had to call them at different times. Having an accurate phone number was the best way to get a hold of people. Not their work phone either. Nobody ever sits by their work phone. Alright. DD 2005 is WIP's Privacy Act. This is Section 2. Part 3 is the Disclosure Accounting Record. What is in the Part 3? I don't remember what that is. No, I know the physicals, but like the Disclosure Accounting, I don't know what that is.
So it's all the way at the back, and that's like for when you take it out, you're supposed to fill that out.
Say what?
That's different.
Ah, okay. History of assignments type thing.
Yeah.
Now I remember. Because there's another form that does that too, isn't it?
I think the only people that really pay attention to that is like
That's the /4, isn't it?
like
It's never been updated.
because they fill it out when they do a long form, like the long and short form.
Okay. Because I think it's the /4 is also put on, right? Because the /2 is special duty medical abstract, and then the /4 is history of assignments. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure there's another form they filled out on too. Next slide. There's that inappropriate ditty that I gave y'all the other day. Sorry, RP. I realized that I was talking in front of a religious man yesterday with some bad terminologies here.
It's okay. Hopefully, you help somebody remember it.
11 years ago.
All right, so I like inappropriate ditties. Help me remember things. Oh God, you got that big white, this is sweet brown, bitch pregnant, run. Oh God, you got the big white bitch pregnant, run. Whatever thing you want to come up with to remember them, I do that because it's funny and it makes sense to me. One of my ditties for AMOS has motherfucking Star Wars in it to remember some of them. So whenever it makes sense, yes. I even have an Allen Iverson one that I have for regular medical waste. I'm all about ditties.
I'm intrigued about Star Wars.
Yes. It has only friends eat chocolate pudding in there too. Alright. Next slide. This is straight from the form manual. Actually, I think I put this PowerPoint together.
This is how you put it together.
Huh?
This is how you put it together.
Yep. So, easiest way to remember this. Part 1, Prep Med and Knock Health. Anything Prep Med and Knock Health related goes in Part 1. Okay? Medical treatment, Part 2. Physical readiness, exams, Part 3. Labs, EKGs, ancillaries, Part 4. If you know those 4 parts, you should know where all the other forms fall into. Okay, that's my best advice to y'all. If they're ever asking what part of the folder it goes in, if you know those 4 categories, it's easy to slide it into it.
Can you repeat it one more time?
Part 1 is Prev Med and Knock Health. Part 2 is healthcare treatment. Part 3, physical exams. Part 4, ancillary services. The physical exams can be / readiness because that's where your med board stuff goes too. That makes sense to y'all? I have stories to help remember the forms too, so I'll let you know. And it's basically, I walk you from start to finish through a procedure, and it walks through knowing the order of the forms, and it makes a lot more sense. I have it on the Google Classroom if you want to view it too. Next slide. And my PowerPoint just disappeared. Dental. Easy 603A. Dental treatment. Easy 603. Dental exam. Okay. This 6600 is still here. The other 6600s are gone. So it used to be 6600/3, and then you had your 13, 14, and 15, which is like your oral problems list and your cancer screening. All right. So located in Part 1 is your X-rays. Part 2, literally just dental health questionnaires. Part 3, exams. Part 4 is your current dental status form. So that one is your /14. And then these forms, okay? We're going to see if you know why these forms. Anybody know what your SF513 is? 522? Why do you think these are on here? What do these all usually involve?
Consent form?
I'll tell you now. Nurse notes, consultation tape, sheet, progress notes, request for anesthesia, and I can't remember the 515. All of those involve a procedure, surgery, right? So they're going to be in that section. Because in dental, we have oral surgery, to where we might use, or they have to have some sort of oromaxillofacial surgery to like break their jaw, whatever else it is. These forms are in there.
Right? Like, how does your mind just remember all these forms and you don't ever see them like that?
I have a very good memory, I guess.
You don't come take my test? Got a wig for you.
All right. I remember a lot of things. I did the same thing with FMF then. I got that in 2 months.
Damn.
All right.
Only a year.
I wanted to make sure I did college and have everything in the way. So I got to my command right after FMF. I wanted to make HM2 and to get my FMF pin. I just took the test. So my goal was to get my FMF pin by the time answer results came out. So the answer results came out, I missed the test by 2. But I got my FMF pin right when they got out. So the next cycle, I picked up HM2. And then I had the rest of my 2.5 years at Lejeune to just take college classes. Alright, any questions about this PowerPoint? Alright, you'll go in more detail in chapter 16 anyways. Alright, I lied to you. I said we weren't going to keep you here late. It's 4:21, but I'm done with you for the day. Those course critiques, make sure you guys are filling